that. It's crazy. The fires from Canada. Canadian wildfires. Can't believe it. I forgot. I'm the only one not wearing a mask. I should be wearing a mask.
I just grabbed it on the way out.
Yeah, I realized after It's crazy, isn't it?
It is just crazy. I mean, it's like 400 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go, you guys. The smoky New York City.
Hey, Shalom Makim, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. I'm going to give double honors to the apostles and others, a great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Northern the gospel, broad lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just another lesson through the spirit, going into the plagues. We've done shows on this. I've done actually a show on this last week. But just getting more in depth, so to speak, because when you pay attention to these trends, kind of what I was making mention of in my last video, this is going to be the norm in America sooner than later rather, because I mean, the wickedness, okay, the evil, the wicked deeds of the elites and the way that you people live. And this is just a warning from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Because though I seen clips of this, but I didn't see it this in depth. You know, some people say, oh, it's the wildfires, which I believe that can be somewhat of a contributing factor, but I believe it's something else going on here, man. And this can be them justifying themselves in climate lockdowns. Because when you look at this is nowhere in hell to be. Should nobody be outside navigating in this type of inclement weather, so to speak. Okay, because for one thing, you were hailing those fumes, those particles, you know, those poisons, those toxins. And, you know, you're susceptible to becoming sick and possibly dropping dead. Here in Kansas City, I mean, when you look in the sky, it's still pretty much a haze. Okay, I'm looking outside right now, and it's still pretty much a hazy, it's still pretty hazy out. Okay, so just imagine how it looks in New York. Okay, now I'm not saying that it still looks like this because it may be cleared up by now. I'm assuming so. But I have to assume that there may be a tad bit of haze left in the atmosphere, because I'm looking outside now and we're in the Midwest. This is the East Coast, and then Canada is north of us, or north of the United States. And if we're seeing haze out here, then I'm surely seeing, I know that they're seeing some type of discoloration out there still in the eastern coast. Okay, or if not, then we know that Esau Edom is clearly behind this. But nonetheless, this is nothing more but a plague that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is bringing upon humanity, man. Okay, and we're gonna see things like this. Things like this are gonna intensify. Okay, this is just the beginning of the storm, as they like to call the calm before the storm. Okay, so hey, scriptures say, "Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven," but you heathen, you're gonna be dismayed at this, because this is your rulership coming into an end. Okay, because look at that. That's very ominous. Okay, that's ominous. I've never seen anything. I mean, out there, I guess in Saudi Arabia, you have what they call in the Midwest, Mideast, you have the Middle East, so to speak. And in the Arabian desert, you have what they call sandstorms, which pretty much looks like this, but that's from sand. Okay, even the provinces of China, Shanghai, Beijing, Hong Kong, they have a very poor air quality, but not of this bad, not of this type of severity. Okay. They mentioned last week in a news report that New York was indeed probably, they had at this time the worst air quality on the planet Earth. Okay, and people were getting sick from this shit. All right, prime example, my supervisor, she called off pretty much for the rest of the week because she was sick. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people was getting sick due to the dust, the fumes. And you can see it in the air, man. Okay, they're poisoning us. Okay? Because remember, with those train derailments, fumes and so forth, fucking chemicals are in the air, in the water, in the stream. And whatever Esau Edom is doing, you better believe that it has something to do with his purpose of setting up the New World Order. Because just off this alone, they can have pretty much climate lockdowns, and they could be justified on keeping people locked and confined into a house. And before you know it, you got troops with these particular masks going beating down your door, trying to do a temperature scan on you, probably trying to put something in you, all in the fate of climate lockdowns. Because there was an article I got into yesterday slightly about how the Biden administration and these particular militia groups are pretty much setting up these events to stage climate lockdowns. So it's not too far-fetched to believe that Esau Edom is really up to no good. He's really up to some dark dealings here. But the scriptures prophesy to these particular events, man. Okay? So anyway, let's get right into the scriptures. The book of Exodus 7, and these are the plagues. Okay, this is the Exodus 7, and this is one of the first plagues that Yahweh Bashim Yahushai turned the waters into blood, okay, in Egypt. And remember, in Esdras, it tells us that the Most High would smite Egypt with plagues like before. So all the plagues that befell Egypt, they're going to hit here in America, but on a whole different scale. So like I said, when Lake Michigan turns into blood, that's going to be some horrific looking shit, man. I'm waiting on that day. Okay, because you had several accounts of rivers in America turning into blood due to, the algae and the tides and the dead fish washing up on the shores and so forth. I've seen it in China, you've seen it in India, but not a massive body of water. Okay, when the Atlantic Ocean, for instance, that whole entire ocean becomes red. Okay, right along with the Pacific Ocean, with Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake Huron, Lake Michigan, the 5 fresh Great Lakes, as they call them, which they're not fresh anymore. But the Mississippi River, Missouri River, they all turn into blood. Then that's how you're going to know that the Lord's judgment is set upon this place. And the blood moons we've been having, the solar eclipses, the particular signs in the heavens, these harvest moons. Hey, this shit is going to happen, man, okay? And it's going to happen sooner than later because we're in the times, okay? That's why we're sent to warn you Israelites, to tell you to repent, man, okay? To pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, to give you a clean slate so you don't have to be caught up in these plagues, because these plagues are going to come and they're going to catch these people off guard, man, okay? Our people, they're totally in a dark state of mind. They're totally blind and oblivious to the hell that our Lord and Savior is getting ready to bring to this goddamn place. All right? You got these Christians out here bugging out, scratching every tooth and nail to try to come against us. But yet they can't explain these plagues. They can't explain the prophecies. They can't explain, or they can't give you the understanding as to why these things are coming to pass in this type of frequency. You see? So this is the book of Exodus 7:14. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, and he refused to let the people go. So get thee into Pharaoh in the morning, and lo, he goeth out into the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink against he come, and the rod which was turned into a serpent shall take thou in thy hand. And thou shalt say unto him, Yahweh thy power of the Hebrews have sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hereto thou wouldest not hear, meaning that he hearkened his voice. He didn't hearken his voice into the Most High through Moses. Okay, because see, the thing about Pharaoh, you have to understand this one. The children of Israel, when we were in the land of Egypt, just like today, we were the reason why Egypt was so prosperous. Okay, because of the slave labor. That's one reason why Pharaoh didn't want to let us go. We pretty much put Egypt on the map. Like every captivity we in, we deck it out, man. We make it what it is. Jake make the best out of a worse situation. Here niggas are in slavery, you know what I'm saying, getting the hell beat out of them, but they behaving like animals in a zoo. They're like circus clowns, man. The Ringling brothers and so forth. Jake is in slavery, but they jumping through fire hoops and, juggling bowling balls and, all into the entertainment world. Jake is making the best out of a fucking worse situation, man. That's our people. That's why it says that our people are lively. It says the daughters of the Hebrew are more lively than the daughters of the Egyptians, roughly paraphrasing. Because Jake is in the worst case scenario, but niggas are making the best out of it. And that's one reason why Pharaoh wouldn't let us go, because he knew once we were let loose, Egypt wouldn't thrive as an economy anymore. Okay, just the land of Goshen alone and the land of Ham was one of the most known provinces to thrive in agriculture then, because for the simple fact, hey, Jake was there and they was getting free slave labor. And you had some Jakes that was living good, man. You had Jake, look, fucking Moses basically was the prince of Egypt at a point in time. Okay, and then look at Joseph. Joseph was made a president almost, man. He had rank in the land of Egypt under the first Pharaoh, man. So you see what I'm saying? So it's the same day here in America, man. They push that kick, that whole Marcus Garvey kick, go back to Africa. For one thing, every Negro ain't from Africa. Okay, the same people that was being sold on slave ships in Africa from the West Coast were the brothers and relatives of the people that was being put on ships in Portugal and Spain during the late 1500s. So you can't say all black people could migrate back to Africa. We were dispersed. You see what I'm saying? But Esau used that generated lie, that narrative, to push that blacks are Hamites and all so-called black people are descendants of Ham, in order to pretty much keep our heritage a hidden mystery. You know what I'm saying? That's why Blumenbach came up with that whole concept of the three classification, the Mongoloid, which is the Asiatic nations, which Oriental or Asian doesn't mean you're only Chinese. No. Okay, that's a what you call a social construct. Okay, and then you had the Mongoloid, Caucasoid, and then you had the it's another one, man. Fuck, it's the black. It's the one dealing with the black. You got Caucasoid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid, and then I forgot the one with the blacks, man. Let me look it up real quick, because this is first-hand knowledge. I don't know, it just slipped my mind. Blumenbach theory classification. Okay, so you got the Mongolian, yellow race, Malayan, the brown race, Ethiopian, the black race, and American. Okay, let's go here. Blumenbach claimed that Adam and Eve were Caucasians inhabitants of Asia. You're right, but at least he got the Asian part right, because Israel was in the land of Asia, believe it or not. Mongoloid, Caucasoid, and you got the I can't remember the fucking black, the ones that the Jake falls under. Okay, but basically they lumped us up as being African. I'll go as far as to say that. So Salakia, it slips my mind. But anyway, same thing in America. They ain't gonna let us go because we the one that keep this economy thriving. Jake keeps the cities in Babylon pretty much running, the concerts, the venues, the jobs. Jake is the working class of the society. Without Jake, this place is done. So you can see why Pharaoh wasn't in the business on letting us go. That's why the Lord brought the plagues upon the Egyptians. Same way now. Because this time the Lord is going to deliver us from this Pharaoh. Okay, he's not going to let us go. The Lord's like, I got to come and get my people. This is Esau we're dealing with. He ain't going to let him go. He ain't trying to have Jake. If Jake was trying to go back to the countries that they assume to be from, Esau would be at that border with fucking M16s and the army ready to destroy Jake. He'll wipe us all out before he let us go. And that's just the truth. All right. And it says here, and thou shalt say to him, the Lord, power of the Hebrews, have sent me unto thee, saying, let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, here too thou wouldest not hear. Thus says the Lord, and this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. But behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they should be turned into blood. Okay, so that's the point. The Most High through Moses turned the rivers into blood, and guess what? We're going to get that power too, because the scriptures say we're able to smite the earth for the plagues as often as we will. Okay, going into the two witnesses. Okay, which are going into Zerubbabel and Joshua the high priest, but retrospectively representing the northern and the southern kingdoms of Israel. Okay, those are the two witnesses. that's standing before the Most High on the earth, because we are a witness unto this wicked society and prophesying the end, and we are a witness unto Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai's testimony and through the blood of Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, man. Okay. And it says, and the fish that is in the river shall die. So that fucked up the agriculture right there. Okay, the mackerel business, the fish industry, that put a halt to as these plagues were hitting. Remember, these plagues were directly tied into the economies of Egypt at the time. So when these plagues hit, you better believe that they was facing economic downturns. Okay, markets were being closed. Okay, no type of trading and commerce were coming to pass. They had to put a halt on business because of the plagues, man. Okay, and you could just think just common sense. Okay, even though they don't really go into the aspects of it in depth, but you can understand that if somebody smite your waters and somebody smite a known supply of water to the Mediterranean, okay, the Red Sea, which is a pretty much a coven into the bigger oceans, the Mediterranean Sea. All the Mediterranean Sea is just lucrative in trade in general. Okay, and I had done some research on the Mediterranean Sea as well, man, about how the water temperatures and about how pure it is, because it's a closed system. You see, but nonetheless, you got to understand that if a body of water like the Atlantic Ocean, let's just say if the Most High smote the Atlantic Ocean with plagues and blood and the fish die, how the hell are people gonna import these fish markets? Global supply trading will halt almost immediately because there won't be any fish in the sea to sell. You know, now you may have backstock and you may have particular markets in local provinces, but even then, once that run out, shit is gonna go up. Okay, so the Lord was basically attacking the economy at this time. And it's the same thing he's doing now. And it says, and the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink the water of the river. And just the fact they didn't have a pure drinking supply of water because the Lord smote it with death. And it says, and the Lord spake to Moses, saying unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thy hand upon the waters of Egypt, and upon the streams, okay, because streams are fresh water, and upon their rivers, and upon the ponds, and upon all the pools of water, that they may become blood, that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and vessels of stone. So the Lord shut their ass down, man. Why? Because the fact Pharaoh did not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And this is the same thing today. The Lord is going to break this society down, and he's going to bring it to a screeching halt. Okay, it tells you that in the book of Jeremiah, also in the book of Joel, that the Most High is going to plead for his people, Israel, which have departed, which have scattered his heritage and departed the land. Okay, the Lord is going to plead for his people's sake because of the injustices that's being done to us. That's why this shithole is collapsing as we speak. But Jake don't see that because he's too caught up in the fucking white man's ass crack, man. Okay, he's not seeing what his power is doing to get him out of it, but instead he wants to continue to thrive in his place, man. Hey, the prophets, we're all for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai destroying this place, man. We're all for that. We're all for the plagues. We're all for the economic downturn. And as the Lord continues to smite this housing market, this monetary system, okay, the Midwest alone has been in a drought for the last fucking 3 to 4 to 5 years, man. They're not producing anymore. For you brothers that's been living like in Kansas and Missouri and Oklahoma, you notice that the Midwest have been, especially here in Missouri, it's been roughly hotter than usual. Okay, because the Midwest is pretty much a tropical climate almost because of the crops that go here. And sometimes it get dry, sometimes it's overly cold. Sometimes we get all 4 seasons here for the sake of the crops. But Chicago has been pretty mild for the last 5-6 years, man. For the last decade, really. I remember growing up in Chicago, man. You know, when I was living there, I lived there my whole life. But coming up, man, as a teenager, it was fucking hot in Chicago. And I mean, we got a lakefront. You know, you have lake chills, you have wind chills. You know, you got a warming effect, a cooling effect. But the last decade, I mean, it's June right now, in the middle of June. This is when temperatures are literally in its peak. And it's literally 74 degrees in Chicago, 67 degrees. But yet in fucking Missouri, it's 90-some plus degrees. You see what I'm saying? Those are plagues, man. Because Missouri and Chicago, they have some of the same type weather. Chicago just a bit more windier because we got the lake and the boot and the cuts we sit in from Michigan, and then you got fucking Ohio, then you got the lakes, and then you got Canada, then you got Detroit. So within that cusp, that boot, that those vapors and so forth, it hit Chicago pretty heavy. But nonetheless, the Midwest weather really remains pretty much the same across the board, but it's been hot. Okay, those are plagues. Okay, because the Lord is disrupting this economy, man. Like they call the Midwest the breadbasket of the world. So when the Lord smites the wheat, the corn, the crops here in the Midwest, that's a done deal. You know. But it says, and the Lord and Moses did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh, that the sight of the servants into all the waters that were in the river were turned into blood. And the fish that were in the river died. So you better believe they lost a lot of money behind that. And the river stank, and the Egyptians could not drink of the water of the river. So a lot of them died from dehydration. And there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. Okay, so you see, that's the point. Okay, and then it gets even better when you go into Exodus, the 8th chapter. It goes into the frogs, okay? And these are just the plagues. Then these plagues are coming back, the plagues of insects, which we're dealing with that now. You got this guy Gates that released, I believe he released over 1 million something insects into population, man, to allegedly do away with what's that shit called, the West Nile, the Zika shit they're talking about. Allegedly, these genetically modified mosquitoes are said to reduce the diseases among the natural mosquitoes. So therefore, he had to have an overgrowth of mosquitoes fucking flying around. Okay, and then also an overgrowth of gnats. You know, there's a lot of, they call them sandflies, which is like punkies and gnats and biting midges. And then you have those, them big black flies. And then it's another one called, it's like a big brown fly. I forgot the name of it, but the bites hurt like fuck. But you notice all these bugs and so forth that thrive off blood. It's an overly influx of insects here. Like I can't get rid of the gnats in my crib, man. I got fly papers up. I got wine. I put vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and I put fucking wine and dish detergent to try to do away with them, and they still in here biting me, man. Okay, because they're coming through the drains. They're coming through the sewers because the ecosystem is all thrown off, man. Like I've probably been bit by a gnat from the last 3. I've probably been bit over 1 million times by gnats within the last 3 years, man, to the point I've developed an allergic reaction to it. To the point if a gnat is around me, my skin will crawl because I've been bit so much by them. You know what I'm saying? And to the point they're biting through the deep because those are plagues, man. Okay, you got cockroaches, man. They're talking about a plague of spiders in Missouri. Matter of fact, let me look that up. I was looking at this here. It says, soon a horde of 8-legged freaks will be crossing Missouri roads. How in the hell do they know that? Wait, what? Hold on. They took me to a whole different. This is not even what I'm looking for. What the fuck? In Missouri. How would they know that? It says soon a horde of 8-legged freaks will be crossing the Missouri roads. How do they know this? Wow. Plagues. Let me find a better article. Let's find a better article. See if I can find my actual article on this. Okay. Soon a horde of 8-legged freaks will be crossing Missouri roads. Them plagues, man. And we know you women. And that's the spirit. New Madrid quakes have shaken Missouri. Yep. We are on a New Madrid fault line, which is connected to the San Andreas fault line. We've been saying that Missouri's going to get hit with an earthquake. We overdue anyway. But if they get hit with a big enough, the state of Missouri would just split in half. which would be a fitting judgment for you people, especially you devils. But I can't seem to find a good article on this, man. But let's see. It says, there's a reason I tend not to travel to the southern part of Missouri during the late summer, early fall. It says it is an annual nature tradition where you assume see hordes of eight-legged freaks crossing the roads in that part of the Show Me state, which is Missouri. It says, I'm talking about the annual migration of the Texas brown tarantula. The Department of Missouri of Conservation provides detail what I'm talking about. It says, in late summer and fall, Missourians in the southern part of the state, luckily being in the northwest, it says southern part of the state may see these large ants crossing roads. And they do that to not scare you. These shits pop up in people's houses like in Australia. Rat plagues are natural like every fucking 10 to 15 years. They have literally fucking mice. Just literally like roaches swarming through the streets, man. It's crazy. You know? So, yeah, man, these are plagues, brothers, man. You know, this is nothing. Wait till those big cockroaches and them flying moths, man. You got fucking moths the size of fucking, it's size of handheld fucking wallets, man. You got moths that's damn near as big as a bottle of liquor, man. All right, like the Lord got some creatures out here for you people. And you women, man, this is going to be a horrible time for you women. I've seen women bug out over roaches, man. Just imagine tarantulas and fucking moths and mosquitoes, man, and all types of shit flying around you. Locusts, grasshoppers, you know. But it says the plague of insects. This is a big one. All right, and they refer to them as lice. All right, let's go here real quick, and I'm going to shut it down. I made the point. This is the book of 2 Esdras 15, and I'm going to start at verses, let's start at verses 11. It says, but I will bring them out with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before and will destroy all the land thereof. Okay, Egypt should mourn, and the foundation of it should be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh should bring upon it. Okay, as we were reading in Exodus, it says, they that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting in hell and with a fearful consolation. But woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people should stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands. So these things are going to happen in simultaneously, one plague at the next, for that event, till Yahushua comes back and finally destroys this place and delivers elect. So I'm going to end it there, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim Kakwadash. And with that, Shalom and Abba Shalom.